All
Hey,
right, letting some people
everybody.
in. Oh,
Yeah, let
sorry.
everybody in. Hey, everybody. I'm Margaret Ferris. I'm the executive director here at Park. Steph is just ready to take it over. So, this is my favorite hour of the month. I love listening in. Hey, Steve, we got your note about your certificate. Um, so, this is a time to lean in. Nobody here is a bigger expert about your practice than you. So, but these are the people to ask. So, all right, everybody, have a great time. I will be listening in and talking back to you, even though hopefully you can't hear me.
Thank you, Margaret. I can't believe it's November already this year. I remember setting up the 2024 calendar with all of the events for Rising Professionals, and we have one more left and this year, and I'm working on next year already. It's crazy. So if you do want to sign up for Rising Professionals for 2024, they're all out there, so you can go ahead and get those on your calendar. Um, So I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. Charlotte, have we seen you before here at Rising Professionals?
No, I am new.
You're new. Hi, welcome. Where are you from?
I am zooming in from Austin, Texas, and I'm originally from LA and New York.
Oh, nice. Nice. And what do you do in your practice?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so when the pandemic hit, I lost my job and I took up life coaching. But after a few years, I did resume writing as just kind of a freelance gig. And what I noticed was I was more confident in the transformation that I could give to somebody via paper than just plain old life coaching. So I'm just kind of trying to explore new avenues for my career. My favorite types of resumes to write are new college graduate and entry level. And I don't know what I don't, I've done 3 of them as a freelancer and I just loved it. But it's like I'm just a total newbie to this whole space. So I'm just here to just learn from other people and contribute.
Oh, great. You'll learn a lot here.
Yeah.
We
Thank you for
we've
having
been
me.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you have questions or have ideas or anything, definitely jump in and let us know.
Thank you.
Anita, are you new to Rising Professionals?
I am, yes.
Hey, welcome. Where are you calling
Thank
from?
you. From Buffalo, New York. I just joined Park about a week ago, and so my background's in human resources, but I've been doing just HR contract work and freelancing for the better part of 10 years now, and started doing some career coaching, resume assistance. Found that is, an area that I really like. So I'm going further down that path, and just hoping that, from this call to get the ball rolling, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
This group is fantastic for just figuring out what you want to do with your business. We're going to talk about different aspects. We've talked about pricing multiple times. We've talked about marketing. And today I was hoping we could talk about value. Well, before I deep dive, is there anybody else new that I missed? I'll make sure we touch everybody.
Hey, Stephanie, this is Angel. I guess I'm new to this particular group. I'm in the current cohort for the Build Your Business. So I've actually listened in on this call a couple times, just kind of, listening, seeing what you guys talk about here. But now being in the cohort, definitely very interested to hear what's going on here.
Yeah, great. Welcome, Angel. Yeah, I've seen you around on other aspects of Park. So good. I'm glad you
Always
introduced
poking in
yourself
and
to the
out.
group. Yeah. All right. Okay. Uh, Flynn, are you new to Rising Professionals?
I believe I am.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
And where are you calling from?
I am calling from Raleigh, North Carolina, and
Nice.
it's cold here. It's 50 degrees.
Wow. I hear
Man, it's
you.
awful.
Shall I even open my mouth?
No, you're in Colorado where it's freezing.
Last
All right. Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about adding value to our services. I believe this was a recent topic in PBA, but I learned something really, it just drastically changed my revenue stream coming in regularly. So I wanted to share. I've been in business for over 5 years, and I've always done basically, I have my sales call, talk them into service, and then usually they start with the resume. So I go, okay, here's your invoice, and here's your job achievements worksheet. As soon as you pay, I'll lock you into a date that I deliver the resume. And that worked fine for years. But I started seeing, over time, a lot of people would just disappear or just drop off the face of the earth. They might come back months later, they might come back in a couple of weeks, but they weren't paying their invoice. And then I just had no work to do. So over the past couple months, I've transitioned and I finally listened to you guys and did okay, we're going to have our sales call. Now I'm going to schedule you for a resume intake and we're going to talk about what you're targeting. We're going to talk about your achievements. We're going to talk about your thing. And so now I do a verbal intake versus just the worksheet. And it's been fun. Like, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such a waste of time. It's actually been fun because I talk to them. It's just a conversation. It's totally open. They tell me about their background. I deep dive into things. I can ask them questions about what does this mean? It's like, what does this stand for? I don't know. So it's been really lively. And I find that they pay right away or they pay by the date that we have that call because that's it. It's due by that date. I had a lady who's expecting her second grandbaby, and she's like, "Well, that's the due date, so I don't know." So I emailed her that morning. I'm like, "Hey, just check it in. Is the baby here?" She's like, "No, I'll see you today," and paid me like that. So it's been really fun just realizing, oh, human interaction makes a difference. Like they have a due date, they pay, and I have yet to have anybody fall off my radar in the 2 months that I've been doing this.
I love when a plan works.
Yes, right? Because I mean, Angie has been like, you need to have the human interaction. Like, I know. I finally did it. Anybody else do anything different in the past couple of months that has worked for you
I
when
have
it
a
comes to that?
I have a question about your process of stuff. So when
Sure.
you are on like a sales call with them, you lock them into a time that you're going to talk to them. But what if they're like, but I don't know if I want to move forward yet. Can you email me pricing? Can you like, does that still
Oh, I do
happen?
that. Yeah, I had that
Okay.
one yesterday. I had a guy, he didn't know he's in the military, and so I talked to him about a federal resume and a civilian resume. I'm like, they very, very different. He goes, "Oh, let me think about that. I'm gonna go talk to some of my buddies that have gotten out and see what they want to do." So I'll follow up with him in a few days, just saying, "Hey, checking in." So I still have people who don't sign up. It's just there's a difference between people who do sign up and actually pay me on time
She
and
modified the onboarding
yeah,
process
the
to
onboarding
create
process.
to create
Yeah.
kind of like instant, like a more immediate action. Because if somebody's going to see you, then they have a hard deadline to pay versus I'll just pay her and I'll get to it kind of a thing. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a value add that doesn't take a ton of time, but
Yeah.
has the optics of being like way, way, way more valuable. But
And
And
it's
especially,
the
your intakes, like, so they pay and then they have this deadline for like when they're going to talk to you. Is
mhm.
that like how long is that meeting? Is it like a 30-minute intake?
I've been scheduling them for 45, but it's ranged between 30 to 40 minutes. I will say I haven't had, like, I had one CTO recently, and he was really easy to talk to. I kind of expected him to take longer, but it was still within 40 minutes. So, I'm going to try and shorten it to 30 because I have a lot going on my calendar these days. But hey, if it's a 45-minute session, I think I'll stick with it because it's that deadline of, get me paid. And then I have that.
Well,
Like,
one of the things I also do is the proposal that I sent out has a deadline. And it says that the
Mhm.
rates are only in effect for 30 days. So, and that is repeated if I have to do a follow-up. Now, this is not where they've committed and they just haven't paid. This is where we've had a potential client call, send it out, and having that deadline of, oh, these rates aren't going to last does seem to get them moving a little quicker, just because they know. And I've I've had a few people where they disappear, they don't get back in that 30 days, and they come back 2 months later or 3 months later. And unless there's a really good reason, they were sick, they had a family emergency, whatever, I raise the rate. I charge them a PITA tax. Like,
Yeah.
I don't honor those initial rates.
Dustin,
Mhm.
where'd he go?
I'm really glad that we're having this conversation because I have ran into a little bit of a challenge. So we've talked about like agreements, making sure that we send our clients agreements. What is the standard order? Do you have a client pay and then send them the agreement, or do you send them the agreement and then have the client pay?
I send them at the same time.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Mine
I
actually,
go ahead. Go ahead.
mine, the agreement is an attachment on the invoice. And so
Okay,
it says
so
like, it
I've been
says
doing that.
buy.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
doing
So,
that, and my clients aren't
yeah.
signing it.
Oh, I don't
See,
have
I
them sign
won't
it. I
start
say that,
working with them. I do not
yeah.
start working with a client until they sign the agreement, but I bill through Square and they get 2 emails, one with the invoice, one with a link to electronically sign the agreement. And they not only have to electronically sign it, but they have to electronically initial each section. Because I actually had somebody come back one time and say, oh, I missed that part. You signed the agreement, the whole agreement. Well, I didn't notice that part. So now they have to, in addition to signing it, they're electronically initialing each section. But
Can I ask you a follow-up question on that, Denise? Because I use Square as well. Are you using the premium invoice or just the standard invoice through Square?
just standard invoice, and then I just have a templated agreement that I went
Okay.
in and created. And so when I have somebody, I go in, I generate the invoice, I go into the template, the agreement template, just type their name and stuff and send it off, and they automatically get the emails, the reminders. And very few people have paid and not signed. And the 1 or 2 that I've had, for some reason, the invoice went into the regular mail and the invoice and the email for the agreement went into spam. Don't know
Okay.
why that happened. Doesn't happen often.
Does-
But
Does Stripe give you the option, or Square, either whatever one, to invoice via, like, to send a payment link instead of an actual invoice? Because
mhm,
that has worked better for me. So we used to do the multi-system thing where they got they got their invoice through QuickBooks and then they got a second email through EverSign, which, side note, is a very great affordable e-document e-sign option that's way cheaper than DocuSign. However, in that situation, I found a lot more people would pay and not sign. Now, that said, in the little terms and conditions in the payment that it says, by paying this, you agree. I like to have a little bit more protection on that front.
Yeah.
Not so much that they initial every page, but I want an actual agreement signed. So so there was a fall off there. They'd pay, but then they wouldn't click and sign. And that wasn't the reason that we did what I'm about to tell you. However, I now realize it's alleviated that problem too. We do everything via links, so they only get one email, and it's a welcome email that comes from us that says, once they book their session, it says, hey, we're so excited to work with you. Here's what you need to do. 1, sign this agreement, and they click through to an Adobe sign. And then 2, pay your invoice through this link. And then 3, get set up on your portal, which is a personal thing we do. But since doing that, they complete the whole process because it feels like one step instead of coming at multiple places.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I need to do, because what I'm finding is my clients are paying, which is great. And then I'm like, I put a reminder in the invoice, don't forget to sign the agreement as well. They overlook it. There's nothing that stops them from getting out of that process. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go back. I just want to get the work started. And then I know I'm going to run into a situation. I haven't yet, but I'm going to run into a situation where I get a PETA and something that should have been in an agreement and should have been, signed or something didn't happen. So I've been kind of fumbling around with this process. And now that I have steadily been increasing my prices and increasing the kind of clients that I'm getting, I know that agreement is going to be really important. So I want to fix that roadblock, but I don't want to have a whole bunch of start and stops just because it's part of my process. So Angie, I like your idea. I may have to borrow that.
You
Okay,
can
I have a
borrow
question
slash
here
steal
though.
anything you want. If you want the specific system, so Chase asked, so we originally used EverSign, which is really great from like a simple price structure. But you can't include a sign link. It has to be sent through them. So now we use Adobe Acrobat. You can do e-signatures through it. You do have to pay for that. What, Steph, we just got you set up on it. What is it? 20
Yeah, yeah, it's
standalone?
like $20 a month. I used it because I already had it because it helps me read PDFs and convert
Yeah.
PDFs and do all that stuff. I had no idea it did
Yeah.
e-signatures as a link.
We already
So
had it because we have the whole
yeah,
like creative suite, but this is
this is so
this
cool.
is
It's
the
20
shit
bucks a month.
Jim does. He's like, this is way easier. Do that. So I've done something different. Well, I have you know, to go back to the question about what have you done differently to kind of like add value. I
Yeah.
disclaimer, don't want this to turn into a whole LinkedIn rabbit hole, but I do need to tell you about the outcomes that have come from adding value through LinkedIn. Because I think this is an indirect way to add value without realizing it. And so over the past like 9 months, I have focused very consistently on regular LinkedIn content creation and engagement. And I knew that there would be outcomes of that, but there's some interesting things that have come from it I didn't expect, which come back to this like value prop conversation. So it took like not 8 months to go from like 7,500 to 10,000 followers. And that was like showing up every single day, content creation every day. It's freaking exhausting. Engage. However, it worked. And it wasn't because I wanted to hit 10,000 as a number. I was curious to see what happened in doing that. And so in doing that, here's what happened. The quality of my leads has gone up. I'm getting a higher quality client, more aligned with what I want to work with because they're able to see. And it's not like I'm posting, hey, executives, I'm here to serve you. It's just subtle changes in messaging that have helped them see me and like identify with working with me. So it's helped me get in front of my niche better because I'm adding value through LinkedIn to them without even thinking about it. And so last night during PBA, we pulled the numbers. I literally called Jim in the middle of PBA and was like, hey, can you go pull our lead gen report from LinkedIn? He compared 2022 to so far in 2023. So the 12 months of 22 compared to the 10 months of 23 so far, 3.5x return on business from LinkedIn.
Wow.
So it isn't just more leads, it's higher quality leads because that's way more than just what the price changes have been. Right. And I think it's a way. And so when you think about it, it is a way to add value to your pre-sales process that can reinforce a lot of things. And it also makes you look more valuable as far as like selling the client on those things.
Angie, I have to agree with you 100%. Since I've been using Vista Social, I've been very good about posting. And one of the things that I was doing before that I noticed a difference when I changed, I used to post the same content across all platforms every day. Now, what I do is I create my content, and in Vista Social, it'll populate on my business LinkedIn today, my personal LinkedIn tomorrow, my business Facebook the next day, my business or my personal Facebook the next day, my Instagram the next day. So it's the
that's
same
interesting.
content, but it's posting on different days. So, today, and then something's posting on every site every day, but it's not the same things on every site each day. And that has made a huge difference in my in the quality of my candidates, that are the potential candidates, as well as the interaction on the posts.
Now there's still black hole days, which is like that whole, like, we won't get into like the LinkedIn algorithm, but it's even if engagement isn't high on posts, the all the other graphs look like this. Followers consistently up, views consistently up, even if a post here and there does nothing. And I think it's that consistency.
The other thing too is I'm seeing more later interaction. Like if I post the same thing on every platform today, if somebody doesn't interact, that's it. I don't see interaction with that post 2 days later, 3 days later, a week later. When I post one thing on each, each platform separate, the interaction days later has gone up immensely.
Yeah, that's an algorithm change
That's
that others
interesting.
have been seeing. Charlotte had her hand up when we started.
Yeah, Charlotte.
No, I just wanted to chime in with a mindset that I heard from like life coaching, that this is just to help with anybody who might be feeling a little bit exhausted from posting. I heard this concept called the value bank, which is like you kind of got to think about posting or adding value as though you're making deposits into a value bank, as though it was your IRA. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like you're just making the investment, and then it's kind of like once you create a client, that's the withdrawal. So it's just sort of like it's just that really resonated with me, because it was kind of like there's also this really good adage that the day that you plant is not the day that you harvest. So I just want to put those two mindsets out there for anyone, if you're just being like, where is this going? Why isn't this happening? Yeah. So
I dealt with so much like when I first started posting on LinkedIn, it wasn't about adding value or like giving stuff to people like Charlotte was saying. It was like, I want to sell my business. And so it was always like, I can help you do this and this and this. And that was it. And then once I started positioning myself as just an expert by giving away content, right? Like even the weird thing is it's always stuff that I'm like, this is dumb because everyone knows this. And I'm like, oh, job seekers don't know this. Never mind. I'm wrong. They don't know any of this. So even when it's stuff that's really, really simple, the job seekers look at it and go, wow, that person's an expert. And then it makes them want to work with me. And I never had to sell anything on LinkedIn. I just provided that value that Charlotte was talking about. So it's so funny because I used to track, I don't track it anymore, like how much engagement I would get. But as soon as it would be posts that was like, do this on your resume, don't do that, it would skyrocket, as opposed to the ones that I thought would be really high performing, like, let me help you. Those never performed.
Oh, I full on poked the bear today. So if you want to confirm what gets engagement on LinkedIn and what doesn't, you go poke the effing bear and see what happens. And by poke the bear, I said, don't use the banner. Which I believe, but I also can like see the other side. And I just knew I would get lots and lots of feedback. And it's actually been very good discussion. And I use so many emojis that like people can't get mad at me. But if you like, it's okay to be controversial and not have the popular opinion. I think I have gained 60 followers in 3 hours because of that post.
That's hilarious.
Poke the bear.
I haven't read the comments. I saw the post. I haven't read the comments yet.
So one other thing, because I know people get like, oh my God, I don't know what to write about. I don't, ChatGPT is phenomenal for content creation ideas. Like I just went in yesterday and I typed in, what are the top 10 career pain points or goals being discussed by executives for 2024 and beyond? And I got 7 post ideas out of it that are specifically geared toward executives, which is my client base. And instead of me racking my brain and wasting so much time trying to come up with content ideas, I can do this. And now I've got fodder to create 7 different posts. So definitely take advantage of ChatGPT.
If you share with you,
yeah,
Denise, you're gonna love this because we talk about like tools like that all the time. So you know how now ChatGPT has Dolly in like in it.
I love Dolly.
Okay,
Oh my God, I love Dolly.
Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I hate it.
Oh my God, I love it.
So I gave it my post for today and asked it to create some sort of like a meme or an image that I could post on LinkedIn with it. Anytime I ask it to do anything where there are words, look at the green banner on the left. It spells everything wrong.
Words,
all the time.
It has trouble with that. It does it in different languages. It does it misspelling. So what I've done is I've typed in, do not include words. I think that's what I typed in the last time.
That's a good idea.
I like that.
Yeah, I typed in remove words because it was doing the same thing. And it removed the words and it created a great graphic. It and it says checklist, but instead of having garbage for the bullets or whatever, it's just like dot, dot, dot lines, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I do the same thing you do, Denise. I use it for content ideas because I run out of ideas sometimes.
yeah. So Misha's saying about Canva, the
Canva.
Dolly is a million times better than the AI photo creation on Canva, by no question. It's so much better.
And to clarify, ChatGPT has a premium account 4.0. When you sign up for the premium account, which is about $20 a month, you get access to all of these plugins per se. And so Dolly's one of them. There's a Canva, there's some data analytics. There's a couple of them in there that you can go through and do different things. Versus if you sign up for just the free version 3.5, it's all text related. So you can do text and generate ideas and do all you do. But if you want some more add-ons, you do have to pay for the premium and ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, for the free version, they've updated their data. So you have a better chance of getting actual live current data.
Yeah.
It's not with that, what was it, November 2021?
21. Yeah. It was a little
So the
outdated.
free version is actually pulling from the internet now. Although I tell you, if anybody is looking, to me, the $20 a month for the Chat GPT for the paid version is probably some of the best money I spend, because I live on it, and the quality between 3.5 and 4.0 with the content is just amazing, the difference.
So then circling back to value. So we've talked about value pre-sales, like all your LinkedIn. And in my email, my onboarding email, my fourth bullet is, if you haven't already connected with me on LinkedIn, just to make sure I have that relationship with them long term. Then ChatGPT and all of these tools can help you provide value in your marketing. So that's like an internal version. What are some other ideas for creating value for your clients based on what you already do? Did I ask that clearly?
I
Can
do a
I
lot
just,
of like
before you,
coaching add-ons personally, like where I'm able to say, like, I'm gonna give you a resume, but I'm gonna teach you how to customize your resume.
you
So,
stole that from
go with
me,
this
Mark.
coaching package.
You stole that from me, Mark.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'll do like, this is the phrase that I use all the time. I'm like, I could write you a great resume and send you out into the world to not know how to use it. But if you go with my job search program, we're going to take time to talk about how you can customize, how you can get in front of a hiring manager. So I tell them, like, we're going to go through all these things in coaching, and it just builds the value where they go, oh yeah, I probably should, because I don't want to know how to not use it.
Yeah, having those small value adds that for us don't take a whole lot of time, but from the way you present it to the client, it sounds like you're doing them a favor almost. And they're like, wow, this is great. So it definitely does make a difference in their perception of the value that you're bringing. So can I just answer, there's a couple things that were on here that I just wanted to address. Somebody was asking, it's Vista Social is the social media posting platform that I use. It's phenomenal. I love it because it allows you to upload PDFs as attachments for LinkedIn, which is what you need to be able to do for a carousel. And it's not expensive. It's so easy to use. And then Dustin, Dreamwave is incredible. So this picture now you see on my thing, that's from Dreamwave. That's AI created. I did all new headshots from Dreamwave. I've tried like 5 or 6 different ones, and Dreamwave is the best as far as looking like you as opposed to looking like somebody else. So sorry, I just wanted to address this.
Do you use that to post directly to your personal profile too?
What Vista Social?
Yeah.
It can't post to Facebook personal.
No, LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to throw down a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Spend a week and post them natively. And
Okay.
I bet you $100 or 4 Long Island iced teas at conference that you get higher engagement. We did
Okay,
we did an A/B test on this. Bill Ostrom did it for me, and he was using a third-party scheduler for LinkedIn profile. And I've always heard that it dings you in the algorithm. And so he stopped and started posting it natively, and his engagement doubled.
Really?
Oh, I'm gonna
So
try that.
I'm curious to because you have posted for, you have more historic content to go on. I'm curious to see what happens and whether it's true or not for you.
I will definitely, I'll
Okay, cool.
definitely try that. I will
Angie, natively meaning just a manual post?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or using, I actually am not entirely convinced that LinkedIn's scheduling tool doesn't detract you from your performance, but going to LinkedIn wants you on it as a human interacting with other humans, and it tends to penalize you for anything you could do that makes it think you're not a human directly interacting with humans. And so you have to go there and post it yourself. They finally did add a native scheduler like 6 months ago, and it's very, very useful. Sometimes I think that it doesn't perform as well either, but that might just be the madness in my head. So
No, I think you're
versus
right,
like
Angie.
having Hootsuite cross post for you or something like that.
Angie, I think you're right with their native scheduler because I was doing it there and then doing it with Vista Social. And the Vista Social was getting better engagement than the posting scheduler posts that were scheduled directly through LinkedIn. The other thing that I do, Angie, is first of all, with Vista Social, it's great because you can set it up to do the first like on every post, and you can set it up to do the first comment. So about 2-3 minutes after it posts, it will post a comment as well, which helps with the algorithm. But then the other thing I do is I have them all, they all post at the same time, 11:30 a.m. every day. I found that to be my sweet spot. I don't know why, whether it's catching people when they're going to lunch or whatever, but I will try very hard to make sure that I'm in LinkedIn. And right after my posts hit, I'll start commenting on a couple people's posts. And that seems to help. I'm not commenting on my own. I'm commenting on
No,
other
if you prime the pumps for the 15 minutes before yours goes live, I actually think it helps your own content.
people.
Should we
I'll
address
have
the
to try
fact that
post-
Flynn opened the giant can of worms that is pricing?
Yes, I was waiting.
you
I was
should.
waiting. Part of me is wondering if we deep dive into this next month, because then we can talk about pricing for 2024. But we can talk about this a little bit. So I am going to tell you, it's all about packaging your stuff. It is.
Do I get to
Mark
make
and
fun of
I,
you for saying that now?
yes, you can. And that's why I started laughing before I said it. Mark and I both started in 2018, and we have done similar models, and our revenues are very similar. Our client numbers are very similar. Like, we're very, very similar. And at different times, we tried different techniques. And so we both moved to packaging, and we both had the same response, but I think we did it like 6 months to a year apart, I think. But what I do is I can do singles, but I only offer it if they just start asking questions. Like, I don't jump up with like, oh, I could do singles too. I do resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn together. And then I have different tiers. I have an entry level price, a professional price, which is my catch all, and then my executives for VPs and above. Then I have what I call a program, which I include coaching. So one of my big things, if you guys were on LinkedIn yesterday, is I just rebranded my website.
Yes.
Yay! So new name. Yes, I listened to this group. It took me a couple of years, but I listened. And so one of the big things for me was I provide a lot of value through FaceTime. Like, I'm on video, or I'm on the phone with you. And so I do a lot of coaching. And so my value add was being that coach that you can rely on all the way through your job search. So I hiked my prices recently. So throw out some numbers. My professional, I'm at $7.99 for a resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn. My resume is $4.25. My cover letter is $125, and my LinkedIn is $250. Something like that. And then it goes up and down based on the entry level and the executives. where my job search program, which is, everything, I implemented career office hours. So instead of doing one-on-ones and killing my calendar, I'm doing check-ins with groups. And I'm going to do it unlimited, basically. I just went to $14.99 for that. And I know people are going to sit there and go like, that's still cheap. Yes, it is. I'm starting out. So that's just to give you a baseline. Mark, why don't you tell them about how your revenue doubled like mine did? Because I know we're very similar.
Yeah, Steph and I just compared numbers. We have been for like 3 years in a row within like $1,000 of each other total revenue for the year, which is insane. But so I just actually had my best month ever in terms of average income per client last in October, which was exciting. Where I'm basically like I'm gonna do the math on it here in a second, but like I am making so much more per client, like almost double what I made last year per client. Because I'm basically packaging every single time. I almost never do a one-off resume anymore because that was my whole model. Was I was like, well, I'll do a la carte services, and I was like, oh, that actually doesn't work. So
You're doing
now our
twice as
pricing
much
is pretty.
work. You're doing twice
Yeah,
as much work
it's so
for
much work.
yeah.
Well, and a la
Well,
carte,
and
it's hard to
two,
buy a la carte. It's so for those of you that
right.
don't want to coach and you're only resume writers, this is still very relevant because a la carte is hard to buy and hard to sell because it's too many options. We are too distracted, two options. You have to give them two options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually best if one is a clear throwaway because the other has so much value, it's stupid not to buy it. Right. And that doesn't mean it has to include coaching. It could be you get this will do one version of your resume and your cover letter template. In this package, however, you get 3 resume versions and a cover letter and your LinkedIn profile and a board bio and a 30-minute session on how to use your resumes. Right? That's worth a lot of money and way more than one resume, but all of that probably adds an hour to an hour and a half of your time, but you can charge more than 3x for it, right? So it's thinking about what Denise said, like small things that don't take us very much time have huge value to clients. And it's this really interesting because this is like my PBA soapbox. I'm like, this is like why I laughed about Stephanie is last year at before conference, we went to Disney together, or no, Universal together. And then the next day she's like, Mark, all I heard all day yesterday was package, 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 package. And now she is package, 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 package. But it's
I believe. I
true.
believe.
It's like it's a solutions thing. And all of this was super validated because yesterday, Tuesday, I recorded a podcast episode that hasn't come out yet with a guy who's all about this. His name's Peter Thompson, and he's like one of the top sales guys in England, which means he also has a fun accent to listen to. And the book I linked in the chat is his book. And it's really all about learning how to sell so that you don't have to sell and you basically are making it easy for your clients to buy, which is exactly like my MO. And I was like, this is so fantastic. It's not only the madness in my head, but he gives you really great ways to think about that and like selling value or selling solutions versus a transactional product, because that doesn't build a baseline of a relationship that could, increase the lifetime value of a client.
And one other thing I went to, so one of the things that I had added, I don't know, last year or whatever, and it has made a huge difference. And I'd say at least 60% of my people are buying now my highest package because of it, networking bios. And I'm actually doing, when is it, Stephanie? This month?
We're in November, this month. I think it's this month. Yeah.
This month. And
People
is
don't
it the
realize
writer
how
for
critical
writer?
networking is to job search. So you can upsell stuff that's out. Like I'm not selling one-off resumes either because they just aren't working. Even a great resume is not enough. So you have tons of value add for stuff like that.
Well, and I'm doing I don't know when it is here. Oh, it's a writer for writer on the 30th for crafting networking bios to elevate your practice, deliver value to your clients. Because especially if somebody is actively working, if your client is actively working, sending out a resume to your network can make your network feel icky. It makes them feel like you're hitting them up for a job. A one-page networking bio is less formal. It's a great way to, hey, I'm looking to reconnect with my network. Thought I'd share what I've been up to. Oh, and by the way, if you know of anybody you think I should talk to, or, whatever. And there are just so many ways that clients can do it. And when I talk about that during our potential client call, it's amazing. Like I said, I'm at about 60-65%, especially the higher level director and above that take my highest package now to get that networking bio.
And I will say about pricing, it's really hard. And we all start cheap because we're not sure, and that's fine. But as you're building your credibility, like if you get that CPRW, you should be talking about the CPRW to your clients. That it's a difficult test to pass, and it really showcases your skills, right? So you might have to educate your clients about it, but tell them you're a CPRW and then turn around and charge more for it. Over the years, I've slowly increased my prices. And, I'm fine with that. Like my revenue's where I want it to be. I'm comfortable with the number of clients. If you want, think about it this way, and Angie might start chuckling at me again. The the cheaper you are, the more clients you need to make your goal. The higher you are, the less clients you need, and then the less work that you have to do. And I found that to be very, very true. I'm not, I pretty much write a resume every day, Monday through Thursday. And there were points in my career that I was writing 3 weeks out because I just had client after client. And as I slowly raised my prices, I have less, like it's a week, maybe 2 weeks out, maybe, but I'm still making the same amount as working with double the amount of clients. So keep that in mind. And, think about your target market too. I mean, if you're entry level college student, you're probably not, well, maybe you could get away with a $600 resume, but you got to think about it.
I like Tina's question of a sliding scale to help clients who they're priced out, but you still feel called to support them. I've seen people do
Mhm.
like one free client a month. And they work with one person for free a month as like a giveaway, but like whatever that looks like. But it depends on your clientele, right? Like it can be really hard to determine that. It can be really hard to say like, can you really not afford it? And then what if you do it for one person? They're going to recommend you to a friend who's going to expect it too. Like I get the idea. It can be hard to actually implement in practice.
You can't devalue your work. Yes, it's a shame. Yes, you'd like to be able to help everybody, but if they go to the doctor's not going to change their rates for them because of their situation. So you don't devalue yourself. Absolutely don't. And if you I feel like sometimes I feel guilty because of what I charge. But what I do is I volunteer for Hire Heroes. So I do pro bono for active duty and retired service people. It's something near and dear to my heart. And that for me takes away the guilt, I guess, of feeling like I'm charging a lot. So you just have to work with what you have, but absolutely don't devalue yourself.
Yeah,
And, and Damien, I may not be the norm here. I raise my rates every January. I raise my rates every time I get a new certification. I raise my rates every time I attend a conference. So like after I attend Park Thrive, I raise my rates when I come back because that is I have invested in my skills and my education, and that is going to value my clients. So there is a price value for that.
And keep in mind too, especially if you're writing, it's upfront, right? I have gone down that rabbit hole of, oh, pay half now and half later. And I have every single time gotten screwed. And I think it's happened a lot for this community. So if you're starting out, definitely ask for payment upfront for the writing stuff. And then when it comes to coaching, I'm embarking on a payment plan, but I have it where it's auto charged, so I don't have to chase them. So be wary of that because people do not follow through. So, I know it's hard. I get people on the phone. It's like, oh, dear Lord, I really need to help this person, but there's no way they can afford it. I recommend them to others. I recommend them to services that provide this type of support, especially if they're veterans and whatnot. There's a lot out there. Or I send them to the college career centers, depending on where they're at, or make friends. I mean, I'm constantly referring to people here at Park because they're looking for maybe they want more of a designy type resume and I don't do that, or maybe they need it like tomorrow and I'm 2 weeks out. Like make friends with your peers here because then you could start referring out and you help your clients that way by getting them the right type of service.
Great advice. Thanks, everyone.
Definitely. We'll deep dive more into pricing. I think next month will be a good time to talk about that, to set up for
Going into the new
2024.
year, that's a great time.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about that. So definitely sign up for the December one. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. So I just want to give everybody an opportunity to talk about something great going on in your business. We also like to brag here. It's so fun because for me, my best friend doesn't quite get what I do with business. I can't talk marketing strategy with her, or, oh, my conversion rate's up. Like, no one gets excited. This group gets excited for that. So I want to tell you guys that we have pretty much finalized our speaker lineup for Thrive in 2024. Mark, do you want to
And
give
you
them a
want
little
to be
update on that?
there.
You so want to be there.
Yeah, I just put the link to register in the chat. Denise is speaking, first of all.
Denise is speaking.
Angie is speaking. I might do a chat GPT topic, which will be fun. But we have finalized a bunch of folks. We have federal resume writing, student resumes. We've got content for LinkedIn for your clients. We have a panel that's going to have HR professionals, recruiters, hiring managers on it that we can ask questions to.
Is Deborah doing
We've
it?
also,
Is Deborah presenting? Bugs?
not as of right now.
Okay.
We have some folks who are going to be doing like executive and board level resumes.
Yes.
So many different people. So we're working on getting all of them in and finalized. We have our schedule ready, and now we get to start the process of like releasing speakers as we confirm them. So it's gonna be really fun. We have also rearranged a bunch of stuff. So anybody who joined us last year, we're now basically doing something where every single meal, Monday and Tuesday, is all included in the cost, and it's cheaper than it was last year. So we'll have a fun event on Sunday night. We're doing Careers and Beers with Franklin Buchanan, who runs his series on LinkedIn, and he's going to lead that for us on Sunday night. So come and grab a drink with Denise for sure. Then we're having
I
our
have a
banquet on
reputation, sorry.
a little bit. We're having our banquet on Monday night now. So we'll have the Elite Circle resume contest where you can submit resumes to be awarded an Elite Circle designation. So you can submit those on the Thrive website that I posted. We're going to announce the winners of that on Monday night at the conference. Then Tuesday night, we're going to have a poolside reception after everything is over. So you'll get breakfast included, you'll get lunch, you'll get dinners, lots of different learning opportunities. We're going to do a lot of like member workshops. So everything's going to be a lot more interactive this year than kind of like sit in a room and listen to someone speak for 8 hours. It's going to be a lot more interactive so that you'll actually get some hands-on work with some of the concepts that we're pushing forward. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I have to book my plane ticket.
Myself, Mark, and Angie are leading the planning here. So we just have to share when we get together. We're just so excited about the conference. But turning it back over to you guys, any new highlights or achievements or things that are great or you're excited about in your business?
Okay, I'm going to start talking again because I just have to do like the final exercise for the advanced writing techniques, and I will finish that program. And on the heels of that, have started into the Certified Professional Career Coach, the CPCC program. So, like Denise said, I can raise my prices because I'm going to have more credentials and more experience. So I'm really excited about that. So AWT was really interesting because you can apply it to like resume writing, but it's still pretty cool because there's a lot of like just like in general writing, like I want to write a book, so here's some solid ideas for how to do that, because it's something in my head but I don't know how to do it yet. So that was really beneficial, and I'm excited about that because I mean my total revenue is skyrocketing. I'm up 10% over my total last year, but I'm down 20% in clients. Like I'm making so much more money and I'm not working as hard, and it's amazing.
You're welcome.
So I'm very happy about that. Thanks, Angie.
Aaron.
Yeah, do boost your business or build your business. It really helps.
These are some amazing tips. I'm definitely going to go down this path for sure that y'all are talking about, because I'm doing the piecemeal right now. So, and it's tough when you're working full time. But I was going to say one thing I noticed is really helpful, and I don't pay a lot of attention to my social media, but whenever I do a post, I get this huge flurry of leads and I end up getting 2 or 3 clients out of it. And I was like, oh,
Not a
this is
coincidence.
actually a thing.
Well, because you are then become a subject matter expert. And people see, oh, she's posting, oh, she, and it gives you more credibility over other people out there.
Yeah. And I think I've also, found that since I'm also working full time, I'm like, okay, if I feel a little overwhelmed and I have clients and I have 2 kids as well, I'm like, okay, I'm not posting for a while. Like I need to kind of get through this and then I'll post again when it gets slow. So it's kind of like been a nice way to, I guess, manage my workload a little bit.
That's good. I mean, if you have a process for that, but that's good engagement if you're posting and you're getting leads from that. I find LinkedIn has been helpful because I'm in Idaho. And so I do have a ton of Idaho clients, and they're not always the right type that I want. But on LinkedIn, it's so much easier to curate that list because you can speak exactly to the audience that you want to. So that's great. Kathleen, how are you doing? We were in BBA together. PBA, no, say that right. Boost Your Business.
That was absolutely the right program at the right time for me. I just sort of started thinking about what I wanted to do. And I have people who come to me and say, well, I want to start a business on X. And I said, well, I know it's not resumes, but here's some great tips. So that, I know this is a little bit of a plug. I don't know if Angie dropped. Oh, there she is. Yeah. So it really was a great course. And, I post once a week. I'm trying to, sort of manage my input, but I had this entire group from Accenture come to me. So I have like 8 clients from Accenture. And so that's been really, one found me, we worked together and she said, I might have some more friends for you. And next thing you know, I've got, 8 people, and it's kind of interesting because they all sort of do a lot of the same thing. So trying to make them all sound unique and different and special, but it's been great. And like a lot of people here in the chat, I need to, boost my prices. So I'd be looking forward to that session next year. I was sort of thinking going into the new year, that would be good timing. So yeah, so thanks.
Yeah,
So
good.
Tina wants to know when the next PBA is. It is likely going to be in May, June, start in May, June, right after the conference. So I don't know that we're gonna, unless I get enough people that knock down my door and say, can we do a Q1 PBA? We could. The plan is to do it in the spring and fall each year because those are just good times. January is pretty busy for all of us, but yeah, that's the goal.
Anybody else have some fun things to talk about? Dustin, how's business? Dustin Beasley.
Me, Dustin. I was gonna say.
Yes. Yeah, I just realized we have it too.
She just put me on the spot. Look.
Business is going great. After I got my certification, it gave me some confidence to increase my prices and take Angie's advice, like the rest of everybody that went to Boost Your Business, and focus more on packages than the a la carte resume. And it's going great. I have a lot of clients in all kinds of different industries. Right now, I do have something that's kind of exciting, but it's a personal excitement. So somebody that's a regional director for a leadership academy of high school students reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and I am presenting at a conference for high school leaders. So Future Business Leaders of America. They're doing a resume building and LinkedIn building workshop, and I'm going to be leading that. So I'm really excited to share some expertise with some future leaders, and I'm sure I'll probably get some clients with the adults that are going to be in the room as well. So it's really cool to just have those opportunities.
That's
Congratulations.
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Fun.
I have an ebook coming out in 2 weeks.
Ooh, what's it about?
Job searching.
Of course. Why should I thought otherwise? That's exciting.
No, the real book will come out sometime if I ever finish writing it. That book I've been writing for 2 years, but no, it's an ebook. It's like, right, the working title is like The Ultimate Guide to Job Searching or something like that. But
Gotcha.
it's in honor of Career Development Month. We're launching it. because this is
Fun.
National Career Development Month, everybody. November. Use that for your content creation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. This has been awesome. Where I am right now is I have my coaching call with John in a few hours, which I think is going to be really cool. I've just been pounding through the exercises. I was curious about what the group, what the thoughts are about new college grads, entry level, that segment of the market.
Will not stay there for long, probably. Most people don't. You'll love it and it'll be really fun. And then
And
you'll
there's
be
tons
like,
of demand.
there's
What?
lots of demand.
There's a
And
lot
then
of
you'll probably
demand.
be like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you'll probably be like, yeah, I want to work with Ireland. Not always, but it happens.
Okay.
We have actually somebody in the association who writes specifically for college grads, but charges exactly the same rate that she charges for adult clients. Why devalue the experience of the college graduate in lieu of to be different than any other job seeker? So there are a lot of ways of thinking about that. So
Yeah,
so
it's not easier to write. It's not easier to write for them. It
Sure as
actually
heck aren't
sometimes tends to
easier
be harder.
jobs. They
Okay.
sure as heck aren't easier job searches either. So yeah.
True. And a quick reminder, if you don't have your picture on your profile on the website, anytime a job seeker calls us, okay, and every now and again they want us to like go through their options with them while they're looking at people. And I'll hear them say, "Oh, he looks nice." Okay. So think about your profile picture on your website, on your profile page on the website, on the Park website, and the information that you give can really help people make a decision when they're using the Find a Professional feature. So
And another benefit of making sure that you fill out your profile on Park or any other ones that you're on is there are associations out there, you know, the Mechanical Engineering Association, blah, blah, blah website that scrape information from Park especially the member site. And because I get calls all the time and I'm like, how'd you find me? Oh, yesterday was some event planner something. And when I went and I looked on their website, it was my profile picture and content from Park. So
yeah, we have an arrangement with the Your Membership people that provide our website, and they provide many other association websites. So we have a reciprocal sort of arrangement there. So
yeah, but I probably get at least 3 to 5 calls a month that come from somebody finding me because of my profile being on some organization's member site that was pulled from Park.
It works.
Well, another great conversation, another great Rising Professionals, and for the penultimate one of the year. And next month, don't forget, first Thursday of the month, we'll be back here. So I hope everybody has a fantastic November, and I think checking pricing next month is going to be amazing. So, and if you haven't checked out the member library of webinars, I know Janelle McDuffie just talked about packaging, and anyway, so make sure that you're checking out those. They're just there for you whenever you're ready. So thanks everybody for being here. It was great to see y'all and meet all of our new people too. So take care, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.